So today I'm having a look at the Oukitel C58 Pro, and I feel like they don't need Pro in the name because it's such a cheap phone. Okay, so here is the Oukitel C58 Pro. I have picked it up in a couple of colours off AliExpress. I got it in blue and I've also picked it up in green. So I'm just going to unbox both of the phones. They cost me about 80 quid off AliExpress, and if you don't mind waiting a few weeks for your phone, I definitely consider picking a phone up off there. Now on top you just get the phone, underneath a little bit of paperwork, a 2-pin charger because of course, like I said, got it from AliExpress, SIM ejector tool, and a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. So this is the blue model, pre-clad in a protective case, which to be fair, it's not a bad one actually. It's got the bumpers on the corner, so that's pretty good. I mean, it's blue-ish, depending on the light, I suppose. Nice sort of ripple effect. Let's pop that to the side, and then we'll just have a look at the green colour as well. I mean, they're pretty similar. But overall, really nice looking phones. So I think for the purposes of this video, I think I'm gonna look at the green. Okay, so here is the Oukitel C58 Pro in green. I will just power the phone on and then get rid of the plastic cover. You do get a pre-applied screen protector on the phone as well. Overall, I think this is a really nice looking phone. Although, for those of you that use Vivo phones or iQOO phones, it's got a striking resemblance to the iQOO Neo 9 Pro, but obviously this is an entry level device, not on the level of that one. So let's just take the case off just for a second. Nice sort of matte plastic finish. USB-C port on the bottom. It only supports 10-watt charging, unfortunately. There was a microphone, a 3.5mm headphone jack, speaker grill, SIM tray on the left. On the right, you've got your power button with integrated fingerprint scanner, volume rockers, and then the top is completely clean. The back, you get a 50-megapixel main camera, and then a 2-megapixel assistive camera, depth camera, macro, one of the two. And then a pair of LED flashes on the back, which is quite nice. Let's see if I can get this off in one piece. Lovely. So there we go. So I'm just going to put my information in and then we'll breeze through the OS. Okay, so here is the Oukitel C58 Pro out of the box. Now, if you look for information on the C58 Pro, there is a regular C58 with a couple of differences. 4 gigs of RAM instead of the 6 on here, and then a 13-megapixel main camera instead of the 50 megapixels on this one here. Now this phone is available on Amazon here in the UK and it costs you around 140 quid. There is a voucher at the moment for 10 or 20 quid off, but I did pick this up off AliExpress direct from China for about 80 quid, which is why I bought one of each colour. So out of the box, the Oukitel C58 Pro, as you can see, is rocking a pretty stock version of Android. There's no bloatware or anything like that. Oukitel have got a couple of their own apps on here, but nothing major. And there is no apps drawer out of the box either, so that's something that you can add at a later date. So if we just quickly jump into the settings menu of the C58 Pro, and as you can see, it's just a very simple and familiar looking settings menu found on other stock Android phones from the likes of Motorola and Google. So you've just got the usual settings options. So you've got network and internet, so your Wi-Fi settings, your Bluetooth settings, app settings, so you can do your individual settings for certain apps. Of course, I haven't done a huge amount on the phone at the moment, so there's not going to be many options there. And then you've got notification settings, so you can tweak the individual notifications for individual apps on the phone. Again, there's not a lot on here, so I can't really demonstrate that too much. And then you've got battery information. There's a 5150 milliamp hour battery, so a nice size battery, but only 10-watt charging, unfortunately, on this C58 Pro, so you're not going to get charged up very quickly, but it should be absolutely fine to last you a full day. And you've got the usual battery usage information. Again, that will update the more you use the phone, and as the phone gets used to your usage patterns, battery saver mode, ultra battery saving mode, and then the percentage bar can be shown in the battery icon as well. And then you've got optimizing options, power intensive apps, and that sort of stuff as well. And then jumping into the storage, there's 256 gigs of storage, and like I said, 6 gigabytes of RAM, although you can expand with some of the storage to boost it up to 24 gigs of RAM, and you can add a micro SD card to expand that storage as well. So there is only 11 gigs used, so there's not a huge amount being used by the system, and then the apps as well, so you've got loads of storage left on this phone. And then you've got the option to expand the RAM up to 24 gigabytes. I won't do that just yet because it does involve you restarting the phone. And then you can schedule the phone to come on and off at a certain time. If you want to get to a point at 9 o'clock in the evening, you don't want to use your phone, the phone will turn off automatically. I don't use that. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of people that will use that in terms of, you know, having your phone for emergencies, etc. And then you've got your sound and vibration options. And one of the first things I'm going to do is turn off, if I go into vibration and haptics, the touch feedback, because that is one of the negative things I found so far on this phone, is the haptic feedback is pretty typical of a budget device. It's not particularly great. So that's one thing that I am turning off straight away. And then you've got, oh, sorry, no, I jumped the gun a little bit there. Come on. Display. So you've got your display options here. You've got adaptive brightness, lock screen, show all notifications, or don't show notifications at all. There isn't the option to show them when it's unlocked because I haven't quite set a lock screen just yet. So it will change when I've updated the fingerprint scanner or added a pin. And then you've got lift the check phone or raise to wake, whatever you want to call it. And then wake screen for notifications, which I won't do at the moment. And then you've got a few other options like dark mode, display text size, night light, which of course just filters out the blue light in the evening, so it's easier on the eyes. And then you've got colors and contrast if you want to have increased contrast all the time, standard mode, etc., and just really tweak it. I did that by accident. Video display enhancement, improve video display quality and enjoy brighter and more vivid colors, and that's applicable for a couple of apps as well. And then auto refresh rate, you do get a 90 Hertz refresh rate on this phone, and it is set to auto out of the box, or you can have it on 90 all the time, or 60 Hertz to save a bit of power. But given the big battery, I don't think you'll have that issue. And then you've got a dynamic island option as well, which through no shame of Oukitel are quite happy to steal even the name, and then it will just do a similar thing to Apple's dynamic island, but of course not quite as intuitive as what that one is. So we'll just get rid of that in a minute. And then jumping back into the settings, to also rotate screen, yeah, we'll keep that on. And then you've just got the usual accessibility options, security and privacy. So we'll set a screen lock with the pattern. Of course, you can do it with a pin as well. And then upon doing that, it then gives you the option to show sensitive content only when it's unlocked. We'll check for updates while we're here. There is a new security patch, which I won't do just yet, but I will do that eventually. And then now that you've done a screen pattern or pin, you can now set up face unlock or the fingerprint scanner. So I will just set up the fingerprint scanner just to see how well it works. It's just one of the capacitive sensors on the side of the phone, as to be expected at this sort of budget price. Just shifting your thumb around just to get all areas of the phone, all areas of the scanner, sorry. And then we are all set up, and then you can, it works about as fast as other capacitive fingerprint scanners, nothing to be shouting at the world about. And then there's just the other bits and bobs like location services, safety and emergency, passwords and accounts. And then if you go into system, we are up to date on Android 14. Although on the other screen, it did say that there was an update, but we've got an October 2024 security patch. Now, one thing to bear in mind with phones like this, at this price, and by brands like this, they don't have the best track record for keeping their phones up to date. I have got someone that I talk to at Oukitel quite regularly, and I did ask the question for this one and the new Oukitel P1, and they couldn't give me a definitive answer just at the moment. So that's just the settings menu of the C58 Pro. And as for the display, you can see there's some pretty chunky bezels around every part of the display. It's just a 720p display, again with that 90 Hz refresh rate. So couple that with the Unisoc T606 processor, which will give you entry-level performance, nothing major. You should get some really great battery life on this phone and some pretty reliable performance. Now, if I just go into, if I can remember how to do it. Bear with, sorry, I just had to figure out how to add an apps drawer. I couldn't remember how to do it on this phone. So press and hold on your home screen, and then you've got a few options there: wallpaper and style, widgets, and home settings. So if you just jump into your home settings, home screen there, and then you can add your apps drawer, and it will just take a second just to sort itself out. There's no longer apps to the right, and they are all here. And as you can see, there's next to nothing on this phone as well. Finish setting up your C58 Pro. So you do get a few notification options on that dynamic island, but I'm just going to get rid of that for now. Now we'll just do a quick test of the main camera on the C58 Pro. Like I said, it's a 50 megapixel camera. It's not going to be anything spectacular. So we'll just take a quick shot of the box. It does the job. Isn't the best lighting in here, so of course you're not going to get the best results. And there's a few other options as well. Of course, you've got video mode, into more, there's a night mode, ultra res mode, pro mode, etc. There's a portrait mode thanks to that depth sensor, and then there's a panorama mode as well. And if we jump into video and into settings, it tops out at 1080p at 30 FPS. And then as for the selfie camera, if it will let me go back, you just get a bog standard 8 megapixel selfie camera, which unsurprisingly won't give you the best results, but it'll be absolutely serviceable if you're someone that does video calls and stuff like that. It'll be absolutely fine. And then of course, if you want to do any video from the front facing camera, I'm not doing very well at this, am I? It would help if I selected video. Jumping into the settings, and that is capped at just 720p at 30 FPS. So again, not the best, but for a budget phone, it's absolutely fine. But of course, let me know if you want me to do a full in-depth review after some usage with the C58 Pro. Overall, it's shaping up to be just a pretty bog standard budget phone like you'd find from other manufacturers. Again, just with the uncertainty of software and security updates. But let me know down in the comments what you think of this phone. I have done an unboxing of the new Oukitel P1. Be sure to get subscribed for more videos and more unboxings, more reviews, and I'll see you in the next video.